talking college football playoffs, I'd ask James which guys have the hardest road to get there. That's in there, the top four. Which one of the ones that are just outside that are looking to possibly not get there? But Kami Elkins from Tennessee asked me a question about the committee. Let me give you a quick rundown, James. First of all, the committee is made up of mostly athletic directors or former coaches, and people can say what they want. They all have allegiances, okay? And what Alabama's facing is fatigue. I can tell you they have you have to put them there because they're winning, but if you get a chance to get them out, I think they try to get them out. But here's maybe why the ACC and the Big Ten and all of this stuff gets love. The chairman is Kirby Hocutt, Director of Athletics, Texas Tech. Frank Beamer, who a man of integrity, I think he'd do the right thing, but he's ACC. Virginia Tech, former head coach. Jeff Bowers, University of Southern Miss, former head coach. Herb Deromedi is Central Michigan, former head coach. Chris Howard, president of Robert Morris University. Tom Jernstedt, former NCAA executive. Bobby Johnson, Vanderbilt, former coach. Jeff Long, vice chancellor and director of athletics, Arkansas, wants Alabama out because Alabama hurts the SEC if they keep winning. And then you got University of Oregon, Rob Mullins, athletic director. Athletic director Dan Radokovic from Clemson University. Gene Smith, athletic director, Ohio State. Steve Weiberg, former college football writer, USA Today. And Tyrone Willingham, former head coach of 3 FBS institutions. So when you look at those guys, is there some bias there potentially toward Alabama for the ACC, for the Big Ten, et cetera? Because the Alabama guys don't really want Alabama to be there because it hurts their league. And then again, if they're businessmen, they need to know that they make more money when Alabama makes more money. So I'm not sure. But, guys, who do you think has the toughest road? When you look at the college football playoffs and the way it's set up right now, which team, I should say, has the hardest road? Alabama has Mercer, Auburn, and Georgia. So right now, Alabama has left on their schedule a cupcake in the number 6 team and the number 7 team. Clemson they finish out their ACC school, but they're going to have to get through Miami. Miami has a couple of, I think it's Pitt and Virginia, which they could slip up on Pitt or Virginia. But Miami then ultimately has to finish with Clemson. And right now, after what I saw against Florida State, I'm leaning more Miami, but I was leaning Miami before what I saw against Florida State. Miami just seems to be a team that's hitting their stride at the right time, getting better as the college football season goes along. Oklahoma, Oklahoma has to beat TCU in a couple weeks in a rematch, and I think they can do that. The only thing I think, and let me ask you this: if Wisconsin wins out and wins the Big Ten, would they take a weak Big 12 champion over an undefeated Big Ten champion? Because weren't they saying the Big Ten was the best conference in the country a few weeks ago?
Oh, and definitely in the preseason, we heard all the love about the Big Ten. And here's my thing with Wisconsin, Martin. We even heard before Ohio State took their tumble against Iowa. All the love and adoration for the Ohio State Buckeyes. So in my mind, Martin, it's especially where a lot of the national media guys come from, in those Rust Belt and northeastern areas of the country. If Wisconsin, let's say, beats Ohio State and beats them even by double digits, to me, they're going to give Wisconsin credit for that, just so almost in the kind of a backdoor way, you're kind of not slapping around or dissing, shall we say, Ohio State. So at least in my mind, if Wisconsin does go on and win the Big Ten and, let's say, beat Ohio State in that Big Ten title game, yeah, I think you would see an undefeated Wisconsin get in over, let's say, just for example, a one-loss Oklahoma team.
Well, you know what, though? But because of the teams in front of them, they've set it up where Oklahoma would move up and Wisconsin would move to number 4. Because Clemson or Miami would be gone. And that's the question then becomes, James, if Alabama were to lose to Auburn and Miami were to lose to Clemson and Wisconsin wins out, that leaves Auburn, and then they beat Georgia. That's Auburn, Oklahoma, Clemson, and Wisconsin. And you're telling me that you think that Alabama's the 5th best team if they were to lose to Auburn? I mean, you're saying you think Wisconsin's better? Are you saying you think Clemson's better? Or are you saying if you think Clemson's better, why wouldn't Clemson be better now? Because if Alabama loses to the number 6 team, you're telling me that makes them worse than the Clemson team that barely beat Florida State? It could have lost to Florida State.
Right. I will say this, Martin, when it comes to a selection committee from past experience, never, ever, ever take for granted what a selection committee will do.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And to me, it's about money as well and rankings and placement and all of that. But the thing I love about college football and the thing I hate about college football is play and settle on the field for the most part. This year, it looks like, James, you win, you got a pretty good chance of being in if you're in that top 5 or 6 category. Even Georgia still has a legitimate shot. If Auburn were to beat Alabama and Georgia were to turn around and beat Auburn, Georgia's in. So the top 7 teams, to me, all have their own destiny in their hands with the exception of Georgia needing Auburn to beat Alabama. And then from there, we'll see what happens.